Howdy, howdy. Easy cooking, easy recipes. I'm Ryan, and tonight we are going to do country fried potatoes and chicken fried steak. And maybe, if you're lucky and I feel like it, country gravy to go with it. So, let's get started. I bought red potatoes because I find them to be better tasting than the plain old russets, and I don't have to peel them, which is always nice. So we're just going to do an easy little chop. I got my trusty little serrated kind of steak knife here. And we're just going to do a quick cube chop on them. And that is what we are doing right now. Everybody loves fried potatoes. I do. I know the kids do too. So if you got picky eating kids, no problem. Just tell them they're short, square French fries. Now, I don't know how many you need. You gotta eyeball it depending on how many people are gonna be eating with you. Hi, Maxie. Got my dog Max over there somewhere. Maximus is his actual name. I don't know, he's probably begging at my feet right now, but Maxie, you're not gonna like potatoes anyway. That's almost a pan full. What do you think? I could do a couple more. So I'm just chopping them in half, then half again down the middle, and then giving it a few chops. They're a little bigger than, I'd say, half an inch or so. Maybe a couple more. I like a lot of potatoes. They're good leftovers. Good for breakfast. This is really a dinner, but it's the same stuff you would make for breakfast. If you're making breakfast potatoes, same thing. Same spices, same procedure. Alrighty, I think that is about enough. So, I'm going to use the vegetable shortening, aka Crisco, although this is the generic Crisco, in my non-stick pan. You can use oil too if you want. It doesn't have to be Crisco. And we'll start with that. That's probably enough to start with. Get that pan going. Melting up for a minute, and we're going to take a look at our steaks while we let that warm up. So let's get these open. Nice chicken fried steaks, fairly inexpensive, cheap for the fam. These days, that's a good thing. Alrighty, what are we going to do here? We're going to use flour, and if there wasn't an egg shortage, I might be tempted to use an egg to dip them in, but since eggs are $2 a piece these days, I am going to do a little trick and use milk as my dipper, and that's what we're going to do there. This is just vitamin D whole milk, but you can use whatever you want, whatever you have in the fridge. Now, oh, that's soaking for a second. We're gonna get the flour. Regular old all-purpose flour. Nothing special. But flour doesn't come seasoning though, does it? No, it does not. And that means we are going to add some seasoning to it. Just flour, you can make a pretty good steak. But we're not trying to make a pretty good steak. We're going to make that steak even gooder. So, salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder. What else? Maybe a little Italian seasoning in there. And you get that kind of stirred up. And I think my potato pan is over there asking for some company. So let's go ahead and get those started. And then we'll come back to the steaks. Pan's nice and warm. There go the potatoes. And right now, I'm not going to put any seasoning on these at all, which we'll get into in a little bit. But right now, we're just going to let these go. Start getting happy. I'm on about medium high. And they don't need to be stirred all that often anyway. So, let those get warm and happy, and I'll go back to preparing the steak. I should probably start warming up a pan for the steaks. I'm going to put that one on medium as well. And this one we're going to put just a little standard olive oil. You can use Crisco for that too. It doesn't matter. Any cooking oil you want. This just happens to be olive oil. This is my small burner, so I'm going to go a little higher, medium high. Alrighty, now we have our seasoned flour. We have our steak sitting in the milk, which you can use egg. A lot of people do, or you can use buttermilk, or you can do both. This is just going to be quick and simple tonight. There's the seasoned flour. So I did not have to season my steaks because there will be seasoning in the flour. Give it a good pat. Make sure it gets in. That is going to be your crust. That's what everyone's going to like. We'll set that off to the side. And we'll get this one. Remember, these are easy cooking, easy recipes. And this is pretty easy so far. Uh-oh. Where's the dog? I got a scrap for him. Maxer? Here, Maxers. There you go, buddy. Max is happy. He got a little taste. Alrighty. Get that nice and done. Might as well do these other ones while we're here. Maybe I'll give that milk to Maxers when we're done too. So. It sounds like those potatoes are getting happy back there, but they're probably fine. You really don't need to worry about stirring your potatoes constantly. They'll be fine. They'll start to brown. You can turn them. If you start to smell something burning, though, you better get over there. Alrighty. Almost running out of flour, but I think we're going to make it work. Let's get these corners a little bit. There we go. That should do it. Now, we're going to hang on to that milk and that flour for now. And I'm going to wash my hands because I've got some gooey dough all over them from that milk and flour mix. There we go. They're coming along. Getting brown. Good, good. That's what we want to see. Perfect. That's what we want. Brown potatoes. They're going to be fried. You just don't want them to sit there in the oil and take a bath. They're there for a reason. All right, now it is time for the steak. And here we go. If I did this right, the pan will be warm and ready to receive this. There we go. That's what we want. Bubbles. Alright, try to resist the urge to turn these and slide them around. Leave them alone. They're happy where they're at. Don't mess with them. We're just going to let that go for a while. Alright, let's see how our potatoes are. Ow! Jesus! See how our potatoes are doing? Gotta watch this particular pan. Gets a hot handle sometimes. Looking pretty good. We'll go down to medium on that. We're starting to get the brown we want, and that is a good thing. But they are not quite done, but we are getting a good bark, so that's a good thing. Boy, that pan does get hot. How are we looking over here? Alright, I'm going to take a quick peek at the steak. See if it's ready. Nah, a little more bark. Not quite. You can just eyeball it. However crispy, or if you want it light blonde, you can have it light blonde. If you want it dark, go dark. Your call. Alright, take a look at those steaks. I think they are probably ready for a good flipping. There we go. That's what we want to see right there. We're going to let her go for another few minutes on the other side. We'll check our potatoes while we're here. With the hot pad this time. They're looking pretty good. Hey, you might be wondering, why didn't he put any salt and pepper on them? They're going to be nasty. Well, I'm going to season them after they come out. That way, we do not run the risk of any of the seasons falling off or burning in the pan. So, I'm going to cook them plain. Season them right away like they do French fries at a regular old restaurant while they're still wet and moist from the oil. And you'll also have a pan that you can leave on your stovetop that has nice clean oil in it for tomorrow, whatever you cook tomorrow. Alrighty, and I think these potatoes are about there. So let me get my pan ready. Alrighty, I'm trying not to get all the oil in here. I should have got a bigger spatula. Maybe should have flipped some off the back here. get too much of the oil in there. Alright, do try to do this quick because I want to season them while they're still wet from the pan. Now look at that. So I leave that on the stove, and tomorrow, clean pan, cook anything in there. Now we have to season them while they're hot, while they're still moist. So we're going salt, just eyeball it. Pepper. Now if that's all you want to do and you want to stop right there, you can. Salt and pepper. If you're a potato purist and you like that sort of thing, fine. But you know what? This way is good, but we're going to make it gooder. I'm going to go with some Italian seasoning. Garlic, lots of garlic powder. Onion powder. Oh, let's go paprika for some nice color. What the hell? Chili powder, why not? Give it a little kick. And some dried parsley flakes. Now, get it all on there. And give it a toss. Give it a good stir. Make sure all your spices are distributed evenly. And look at that. Country fried potatoes. How long did that take? About 10 minutes? Not very long at all. And they're heavily seasoned. Very good. Like your curly fries kind of at a restaurant. So that was quick and easy. Now then, let's finish these steaks. Let's see what we got going with the steaks. I do believe these steaks are ready. Let me get a plate. Now, I don't like to do the paper towel trick here because your paper towel tends to get gooed up with the grease, and then it's just sitting on a wet rag, basically. And I don't like that. So there's your steaks. We're going to move those to the side. Let those relax. Now, should we make some gravy? What the heck? Okay, for those of you who are scared of the gravy, gravy is no big deal. You have your pan right here. We started with olive oil. The rest of this is the beef drippings and maybe a little bit of flour. So we're just going to eyeball that. We'll get it hot again. Yeah, that's probably good. If there's too much oil and grease, you can dump some of them out. But you know what? I will dump out a little bit into my grease trap here. Just a little bit. I don't want it too oily here. It's my handy little grease catcher. Just a little. I want the essence of that meat. That's what makes the gravy. I don't just want to make gravy out of plain old olive oil. So, gravy. You got your hot pan. You got your pan drippings from the steak we just did. Super easy. In fact, we're going to use the flour left from my dipping pan. And it's okay that there's a couple pieces of beef in there. Fry the flour first. And I think we need a little bit more. So, that's plain flour. Now then, where is my spatula? So, this is all you got to do to make gravy. You have your grease, which you can add butter to or whatever. You could actually make it out of plain butter, but this is much better when you have the fat from what you just cooked. But, very important, you need to do this step where you fry the flour. Otherwise, if you start with your liquids and add the flour later, you're just going to have that doughy, floury taste to it. And that is not good eats. But watch how quick this is. We're just going to give it a little bit of a fry. Get it a little bit brown. Watch it for a minute. I'll add a little bit of seasoning because some of that was the stuff we used on the steak, and it had seasoning, but some of that came out of my flour tub. So, just a little salt. And a little garlic. And some pepper. If you're going to have country gravy, you have to have lots of black pepper, and I love pepper anyway. So, now that we have that properly seasoned, properly browned, if you have half and half, that is a great choice to now add and create your gravy. I do not have it. I have vitamin D whole milk, and that's what I'm going to use. If you drink 2%, you can use that too. It doesn't matter. Now, this is not an exact science. I just eyeball it. Pour in some milk. Give it a good stir. Gravy and flour, you won't know how thick it's going to be until you let it kind of bubble and pop for a few minutes. So we're just going to watch it. That cold milk hit the pan. It's going to take a minute. We'll just let that go. If it starts to get too thick and gummy, we'll add a little more milk. And we can season to taste as it starts to get closer to being done. But see all these little bits from the pan? That's all good stuff. Little bits of that steak. Look at that. It's getting warm. It's starting to thicken already. While that's going for a minute, I'm going to start making a plate. We've got our steaks. Looking good too. There's a steak. There's some nice country potatoes. This could be breakfast or dinner. I guess if it was breakfast, you would add some eggs, but eggs are $3 a piece about now, so I'm not sure if you want to do that. Now let's check on our gravy. Look at that. Perfect. That's it. So, for those of you who are scared of gravy, I don't know how to make white country gravy, breakfast gravy. That's it. This is all we did. You saw it. That's nice and thick. Well seasoned. Look how thick that is. Nice little dollop there. You know what? We'll stop right there. We'll leave the potatoes open so you can see them. But look at that gravy. Now look, if it gets too thick and you don't like it that thick, just add a little bit more milk or heavy cream and go again. And if it watered it down too much, add a little bit more seasoning. No big deal. Alrighty. There you have it right there. Chicken fried steak, country fried potatoes, and quick homemade gravy. Easy food, easy cooking, easy recipes. That's it. Have a gooder.